Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Entertainment Dome with your hosts.
Me!
And me. And if you don't know our names, it is Mr. Michael Beckwith and Mr. James Hall. Hello.
He's James, I'm Michael.
I don't know by now.
Hopefully.
If they don't, it'll be like, oh, it's that one and that one again.
Oh, it's those two guys.
It's those two random men who like shouting on the internet.
Oh, that narrows it down.
Admittedly, that's most of the internet. The good news is today, guys, is that no controversy.
Hooray.
There's not going to be shouting as much.
Hopefully not.
There's still going to be some irksome things, but we'll come on to those later. But for the most part, it's going to be a happy show, because there's been some good things happening.
Yes, today's episode is just going to all be about the video games, because the Tokyo Game Show happened over the last couple of days, so some announcements have been made for some games there, so I thought we should talk about what interested us.
Mm-hmm. There's also been some other things as well, like I finally played the Super Smash Bros. Demo.
Oh, did you?
I absolutely loved it. So good!
That's the correct answer.
That is... There is one thing I'll be honest about, though. I really loved playing as Mega Man. Absolutely loved it. Like, I think he's going to be one of my main characters when I finally get the game. But I have to say, I absolutely don't like the Villager.
Really?
I don't know what it is, but I can't play as the Villager.
I really enjoy playing as the Villager. Mega Man is the character that I struggle to get hold of.
I think we've literally reversed. Like, you found it hard to play as Mega Man, but easy to play as the Villager. I found it really easy to play as Mega Man. I think it's just Mega Man, to me, felt like a little bit like Fox and Falco in terms of main attack is shoot with your gun.
Well, the thing is, though, Mega Man really throws me off, because most characters' basic attack is like a close combat attack, but Mega Man's is an actual... He shoots. I can hit someone from far away with a standard attack, and most characters' standard attacks don't have that much reach. So that keeps throwing me off. The rest of his moves are great, though. I love them.
That is definitely true, but... I was very happy as soon as I found out, it's available to download. Let's give it a try. I was like, yes!
I was actually lucky enough because Nintendo gave the code for the demo early to Platinum members of Club Nintendo.
Ooh.
And I'm not a Platinum member, but members were given a code for themselves and then 5 codes to share with their friends. And I was lucky enough to be able to find one, so I got hold of the demo like a week early. It was very hard to get used to, because obviously you're playing it on a handheld and the button layout is slightly different and it's a bit weird. But I got used to it really quickly.
It's not hard. I actually found it really quick to pick up.
The thing I actually loved the most about Smash Bros. For the 3DS is how good the frame rate is.
Yeah.
Like, even when the 3D is on its maximum, it did not drop a single frame.
Hell, it even beats Pokemon. And this is a fighting game where it's meant to be... You usually expect fighting games to really tank the frame rate, and they need high frame rate. Like, anything below 30 and literally a fighting game falls apart because you need high frame rate, but this one was perfect, pretty much. I think there was only one time the frame rate went down a little bit, and it was literally like a second.
I think it helped, because I think I remember in one of the early Nintendo Directs that they did, they said that the game was going to run at 60 frames per second, but assist trophies and Pokemon that came out of the Pokeballs, they would run at 30 frames per second, so as not to cause the whole game to just slow down.
That's fair enough. Because those aren't the fighters, they're just things that not so much go on the background, but they're not the characters. As long as it's not the actual characters you're playing as, that's fine. It's more when you're actually playing a fighting game and you're trying to get 2 characters and then suddenly it's like 30 frames, it's like, oh god, why?
Yeah.
Like, apparently I found out that Naruto video game that's come out on PC at the moment is running on 30 frames per second, and barely anyone can play it, from what I've heard.
On the PC?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yep.
That's weird, because PC's usually got the best frame rate.
depending on who's making it, because some people are like, no, they don't need 60 frames. It's like, no, you really do for certain games. You really, really do.
Well, we'll probably be talking about Smash Brothers a lot more once the game comes out.
Definitely. Has there been any confirmation yet if the Wii U version is coming out this year, or is it still, we don't know?
There is a rumour that it may be coming out in November.
Ooh. I did really love the 3DS version, but I still want to get the Wii U version first, if that sounds strange.
To me it does, because I want Smash Brothers now.
I want it now! Now! Just reminds me of Willy Wonka. I want it now, Daddy! Because that's completely what she sounded like.
Yes. Don't quit your day job.
I'm not an impressionist.
Okay, well, that's the Smash Brothers talk out of the way.
It's a good start.
Yeah, it's a good start. So how about I just run down the list of all the stuff that was at the Tokyo Game Show.
Go for it.
And just pick out a few. I will say now, we're not going to talk about everything that was shown off. So if I miss games that you personally are really excited for, but we're not, then I'm sorry, but you're not going to get any discussion for it here.
So look it up yourselves.
There's bound to be a trailer somewhere. But first of all, now this really sort of grabs me, and it'll probably be the same for you, James, is when it's listed as Dai Gyakuten Saiban, but to us, it's the new Ace Attorney.
Oh, yes. Oh my, this trailer.
Well, new in the loosest possible terms, because while it is a new entry in the Ace Attorney series, for those of you who don't know, I don't think it's his official title, but from what I've seen, it's been translated to as the Great Ace Attorney, and it's going to be the first entry in a new series for the Ace Attorney franchise, and it's going to be set in like the late 19th century, I think. They classify it as the Meiji period of Japan, which I think is like lasted throughout the late 19th century into the early 20th century. And it will be focusing on Phoenix Wright's ancestor, who is basically training to be an attorney. And the reason why it interests me is because the game is set so far in the past, as opposed to the Ace Attorney games that we're more familiar with, where they're set a few years into the future.
It's a fresh start, and it's not like a fresh start with, say, Apollo, where Phoenix Wright kept appearing to the point of Apollo was basically a secondary character in his own game. In this one, it's so far in the past, we won't have Phoenix Wright.
Yeah,
so
although
it's going to be a whole new different thing.
It's going to be interesting because since this new character, Ryunosuke, I think his name is, it'll probably be changed if it comes over to the West, which hopefully it will. They have no excuse, and I'll get into why they don't have any excuse later. But with Ryunosuke, since he's Phoenix Wright's ancestor, we can probably expect there to be a lot of similarities between him and Phoenix. So I'm really hoping that he'll have something that will define him as his own character, and he's not just Phoenix Wright in the past. Because that was my problem with Apollo. In his own game, he was just too similar to how Phoenix normally acted.
Yeah.
As opposed to how he does in Dual Destinies, where he actually became his own character.
That's definitely true. But there's one other thing in the trailer that I found really interesting. Suddenly it travels all the way to London.
And that's what I was saying.
We get to meet a certain very famous detective.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that nobody was expecting that reveal.
No, it turns out we get to work with Sherlock Holmes.
Not played by Benedict Cumberbatch.
Nope.
Sorry, ladies. This is classic Sherlock Holmes. He'll probably be like less drug-induced than he normally is.
Oh, I don't know. But if I went by characterization, I think it'd be less Benedict Cumberbatch, more Jeremy Brett than anything else, by the looks of him.
Judging by his design, he certainly seems like a lot more sophisticated. Although
strange designs though, like he's got
Sherlock...
robotic goggles on his head.
I don't see how you can really sort of poke fun at Holmes's design, considering Watson's design.
Oh, God.
For those of you who might not know, Dr. Watson will obviously be appearing alongside Sherlock Holmes in the game, but he's not going to be the Watson that most of you are familiar with.
No.
Watson in The Great Ace Attorney is going to be an 8-year-old girl. And when I saw the design with like the pink hair, I just could not help but just go, Japan!
Japan, why?
Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with this, partially because I find it hilarious. It's only be interesting to see.
I think this game gets away with that because the series has already established itself as being very strange and very out there. That something like this just seems, yeah, okay, we can take this, we can get it.
Yeah, Ace Attorney has got very balmy over the years, so this
over the years it was started off the same.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to seeing Holmes and Watson.
Same. I'll be getting this straight away.
Definitely. When it comes out in the West, and this is what I was saying when I said before that they have no excuse to not localize it. When the game got first announced and they said it was going to be taking place in the Meiji period of Japan, I thought that the localization would be very hard to do, to the point where they might say, "Oh, there's no point in localizing it," because the thing is, the Ace Attorney games are set in Japan. It's based off of the Japanese law system.
Yeah.
But when they brought the games over to the West, they changed it so that they're actually set in like California or something. So, which is, that's what localization does. They sometimes have to change the location of the country.
Yeah.
And that was fair enough. I've got no problem with that. So if the new game is going to be set primarily in Japan, or so I thought at the time, I thought that they would not bother localizing it since there would be no way they could make it seem like it was America. Because modern Japan and modern America, you could probably get away with saying one is the other.
Yeah.
But back then, I'm sure late 19th century America looked very different to 19th century Japan. I don't think you could get away with just taking over the Japanese scenery and claiming that it's still set in America. But now that we've learned that only the first case of the game will take place in Japan, because Ryunosuke and his assistant, whose name I forget...
Maya, basically.
She's not Maya. She's the stand-in for Maya, yes, but...
Maya's great ancestor.
I don't think it is going to be Maya's ancestor, though. I don't think she has any relation to the Faye family at all.
Probably not.
Hopefully not. It
is basically... until we know for certain, we're just going to call her Maya for the moment.
I'm going to look it up whilst I'm talking, just so I don't have to. I don't want to just refer to it as Maya. But, yeah, only the first case of the new game is going to be set in Japan, because after that, the characters go over to England. The rest of the game takes place in London, as far as I'm aware. So they really have no excuse to not localize it, because it's London with English-speaking people. There's no trouble in bringing it over.
I would say that after Dual Destinies, there's really no excuse to them not to do it, but then again, this is Capcom, who one piece of DLC they didn't release because they said, "Oh, the West won't get it," even though that did.
That was kind of bullshit. Plus the fact that Dual Destinies didn't get a retail release; it was download only over here.
Yeah, I know. This is Capcom, where they keep going, "Oh no, there's no Mega Man fans," and when there's people like, "No, we want a Mega Man game, please."
Yeah.
But do you trust them with it, more to the point? I
feel like it should be coming over here. I mean, like with I'm pretty sure both Dual Destinies did well, and I'm also sure that Professor Layton versus Phoenix Wright did really well as well.
Mm-hmm. That did get a retail release as well, which was good.
Yeah, it did, and I was kind of worried for a second.
But then again, that was also done. That was done with Level 5 as well, so
yeah,
they had
to. Well, as of now, I'm slightly confident that it will come over here.
I think it will.
I mean, the thing is, though, they've shown all the trailers to us Westerners. They've made it accessible for us. I don't see why they wouldn't say, "Oh, check out the trailers for our brand new game. Oh, that's cool. When do we get it? Oh, you don't get it. You can look at it, but you can't touch it."
Capcom in a nutshell, really.
even if they do a Dual Destinies again, it's download only. As long as we get the game, that's all I particularly care about. Because it did kind of aggravate me. I mean, I wasn't fond of how Dual Destinies became download only either, but I really just could not help but just shake my head when I saw people saying like, "Oh, Dual Destinies isn't getting a retail release. Well, I'm totally not going to buy it then. That will show Capcom." No. Yes, it will. It will show them that Ace Attorney has no fans and that there's no point in bringing any more games.
Capcom logic.
Because that's what it would do. If we didn't buy Dual Destinies on the pure basis that it wasn't download, Capcom's reaction wouldn't be, "Oh, we should probably release it as retail then." They would say, "Well, clearly nobody in the West wants to play Ace Attorney games, so there's no point in bringing them out over here."
Mm-hmm. Which is the whole problem we had with the second Edgeworth game, which has still not been released over in the West.
And it will probably never come over here.
No.
It's been so long since it came out, we'll probably never get it. Although I have heard that there has been a fan hack that translates it into English.
Good.
Thing is, though, you need a copy of the game, which you can only get from Japan, and then you need to sort of like download it onto the cartridge or something. I don't know.
It's possible, but I think the only way we'd ever get an English release is if they say they released it all in both Edgeworth games in one console. But even that's unlikely. Although saying that, we are getting the Phoenix Wright 3 games in one.
Oh yeah, we are getting the Ace Attorney trilogy, which is like the first 3 games onto the 3DS. I was going to get them, but I thought, well, I still have the original 3 games and the original DS. Plus, the updated artwork doesn't look that good, if I'm going to be honest.
The thing is, I do like the look of the 3DS version. The problem is that the updated stuff I already have on my iPhone. Like, all of the update one is on the iPhone, and I have it. I got it for like £12, all 3 games. So there's really no point.
Yeah, exactly.
Although, saying that, the controls are a bitch at times for certain quests. It's like, God damn it. But again, iPhone.
Yeah. But no, I'm very much looking forward to this new Ace Attorney because it's got an interesting setting. Hopefully interesting characters. The assistant character, by the way, is called Susato Mikotoba.
Ah, right.
That will most likely be changed.
Chitabo.
Yeah.
We'll call that for the moment. There's also something else I loved. We saw Winston Payne.
Oh, did we? Yes, I remember. Yeah. In one of the screens, we see like Winston Payne's ancestor.
And he's like in the traditional gear as well. That's hilarious.
Winston Payne is doomed to just be the punching bag of the Ace Attorney world.
Oh, I just love it one time. It's like, I'm not needed. Just standing there.
It's a neat idea, although I am actually hoping that we don't get, like, you know, Edgeworth's ancestor showing up to be the Phoenix's ancestor's rival, or...
Well, I have a theory that because Edgeworth's hinted to be English, or at least like his father is and all this lot, I have a theory that it'll turn out, that Sherlock Holmes is actually his ancestor.
I really hope not. That sounds so fanficky.
I know. I hope it doesn't, but it's a theory.
I don't think Edgeworth was ever English. He does have a bit of an English accent, but I think that's just because he spent a lot of his time overseas in Europe.
Yeah.
But I will say, though, I am liking Susato's character because Maya was so hyperactive and just sort of peppy. Susato looks just a slightly calmer. And I've got the Wikipedia page up, and she's described as a progressive dreamer and a lover of foreign mystery novels. So I'm sure she will have some sort of quirky aspects to her, like Maya, but she seems to be
a lot more toned down, I imagine.
Yeah, a lot more toned down, which I'm totally fine with, because I don't want Maya 2.0. I want like a brand new character.
It's for the last 2 companions, we've had hyperactive in different ways.
Yeah, admittedly in different ways.
I was about to say, Athena's not Maya 2.0. She is her own character. But...
Yeah, and neither's Trucy.
Yeah, and Trucy. Oh shit, I forgot about Trucy. Sorry. I'm such a bad man. And Pearls.
How could you forget Trucy?
Pearls.
Pearls was still very different to Maya. She wasn't hyperactive. She was just she was 8. That was it. Yeah. She was an 8-year-old
until Dual Destinies, when she grew up, and we're like, oh, she's grown up.
That's the thing, though. She was like 16 or 17 in Dual Destinies, and yet she acted no differently.
No.
Which Which on one hand I didn't like, but on the other hand I still kind of liked, because it was like...
But to be fair, Pearls did act a little bit older when she was a kid anyway.
I think that's because of, considering her upbringing.
And also the fact is that her mum got arrested.
Yeah. She was very mature for her age. And she did seem slightly more mature in Dual Destinies as well. It was a very slight difference. But I don't know what I was expecting when I found out Pearl was coming back for Dual Destinies, because I was hoping... I knew she'd be older, like almost 10 years older. So I was like... I don't know why I was expecting a more radical change. Like, it's not like she was going to come back as a goth or something.
No! Oh, God! I'm trying to picture that now.
I'm picturing it, and it just seems wrong.
Or as a California stoner.
No!
Whoa, Phoenix!
No!
Oh,
I want to get off this conversation.
Just for the telling, this was all Michael's fault.
No, it wasn't.
You said the golf thing. You started the ball rolling.
To basically just one last thing. The Great Ace Attorney will be out in Japan early next year, I believe. No idea when we're going to get it.
Probably about half a year later, knowing.
Yeah, I'd say maybe in autumn next year.
Most probably.
What else is on there? Oh, I'll tell you what. Probably the big one of the Tokyo Game Show. A new Final Fantasy 15 trailer.
Okay. Let me stretch and get ready, because this is my domain.
Oh, Lord.
Okay. I watched the trailer for Final Fantasy 15, which was originally meant to be Versus 13, and was meant to be part of the realm of 13.
Yeah, but that was changed 2 years ago.
Yeah, and I wonder why.
It's because the game was in limbo for so damn long that it no longer had any correlation with 13.
And also 13 sucked, but...
And yet it's still getting re-released on the PC.
Oh, don't get me started. That's one of the things I said that peed me off, and I'll get onto that in a moment, but... It's 15... I took one look at the trailer, and... It looks pretty. The first shot you see is them in a car driving by this massive Adamantoise. It's like, Jesus! So, for those who don't know what Adamantoise is, it's basically like a turtle that's about the size of a mountain. And
yeah, with
it's
stupidly
huge.
long legs.
Yeah. It's like, Jesus, that looks awesome. It looks fantastic, don't get me wrong. And I can't completely comment on storyline-wise yet, because...
We barely know anything about the story.
We know next to nothing. We just know 4 guys on a road trip at the moment.
All I know is that the main character is like a prince or something.
Yeah, that is essentially it. This... Oh, God, you know what it just made me think? You know what it feels like?
What?
It feels like Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. Oh, in some ways.
Actually, speaking of, because I'm pretty sure I've seen the same trailer that you're talking about. That blonde girl that we see at one point, who I'm assuming is going to be the main character's love interest.
Yeah.
Is it me, or does she look almost exactly like Sarah from 13?
Sarah!
It looks like they... literally, it looks like they've lifted the model, tweaked the face slightly, and just changed the colour of her hair.
It's almost like it was meant to be 13 at one stage.
That would actually make a lot of sense.
This is the thing. This is one of the things that that I found out about the ending of 13-3. Is that spoilers, by the way, but really you're not missing much.
13's story is a load of bollocks.
Yeah. 13...
There is no kinder way to say it.
The entire 13 series is bollocks.
Yeah.
But at the end of 13-3, they defeat the main boss, and at the end, everything changes, and it essentially turns into quote-unquote our world. But this was meant to be around that realm. But this looks like very more modern than 13-3 and all that lot.
Yeah,
so
it doesn't seem...
I think that the end of 13-3 was meant to lead into Versus. So opinion that she looks like Sarah might actually be very, very truthful. As in, this might literally be straight after 13.
Well, I don't think 15 is going to have any relation to 13 whatsoever at all.
Well, don't say that, because apparently from what I've heard, that they actually do want to put lightning in the game.
Oh, fuck off!
Because Square just seems to have this massive boner for lightning at the moment.
I don't even get it. You know what? I used to get really annoyed how Square Enix seemed to have a massive love for Cloud and put him in everything. Mm-hmm. But after seeing bits of 7, I get why Cloud's popular.
And even though I admit 7's my favourite Final Fantasy game of all time, it's one of my favourite video games of all time, I still freely admit 9's better. And Zidane from 9 is probably the best protagonist that Final Fantasy has ever had, because he's completely different from most protagonists. And so I completely understand why people get annoyed that Cloud's shoved down their throats. But Lightning, it's a whole new ball game. It's like the online game 14 that was not released not long ago. They just done an in-game event where Lightning appears in it for no reason. And I'm literally like, Square, stop it!
This wouldn't be that big of a problem if it wasn't for the fact that Lightning is just such a bland, boring, uninteresting character.
Mm-hmm. This is the thing, when 13 was going to be released and I found out, the main protagonist is female, I was like, yes, it's going to be like Final Fantasy 6, it's going to be like Terra, it's going to be fantastic. And then Lightning came on, and she was the most dull, boring, emotionless character. And it hurts even more when she's voiced in English by an actress I really like. She voiced Liara in Mass Effect.
This is Ali Hillis, right?
Yes. And I like that voice actress, and it even hurts even more. Again, Snow is voiced by Troy Baker.
Yeah. And Troy Baker is a legend. I just have so much respect for him. He's just a great guy.
I think Snow's the only character he literally was like, oh, sod this. Even
Snow's an idiot.
Yeah, even Resident Evil 6, even when he plays Jake, he still gives it a good try, and it's actually really good for a really shitty game. But in 13, it's like, there's no trying. And I don't blame him to the point.
I don't think the performance for Snow is all that bad. It just took me a while to realise it. But Snow is just such a dumb character.
It's the writing for the character.
That's the problem. Yeah.
I think the only character who I actually liked was Saz.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
And the game goes out of its way to be an absolute dick to him every single time.
The worst part about it for me is that Saz is the best character out of the party members. Saz is the best character. But after 13, he's pretty much gone.
Yeah.
They don't acknowledge him.
They just literally get rid of him.
He doesn't appear in 13.2 unless you buy the DLC.
Don't buy the DLC.
I didn't. I gave away 13.2 ages ago.
Good man.
And in 13.3, apparently, I don't know, I can't remember if it was you who told me this or somebody, but in 13.3, during the final boss fight, Lightning's allies and friends all appear to stand alongside to help beat the boss. Except for Saz, who turns up late. He just shows up at the very end of the last second.
I don't think I told you that, but that wouldn't fucking surprise me. I don't know what it is about the makers of Final Fantasy 13. It's like they so wanted to shove every other character down your throats, like Hope.
To be fair, I did like Hope towards the end of 13. I'm actually just going to clarify this right now. I actually don't hate 13 as much as everybody else does.
He doesn't hate it as much as me, folks.
Mostly because it's the only Final Fantasy game I've played. So I've had no other Final Fantasy to compare it to.
That's understandable.
And I think as a game, 13 is okay.
If you haven't played the other games in the series.
It's a decent game, it just has a lot of problems. 13.2 can just go burn and die. I hate 13.2. See,
if you haven't played a Final Fantasy game, then yeah, it's okay. But even then, it's still got problems. This is hard for me because I love the Final Fantasy series to death, and I hate how Square is treating it now. But if I try and take it away and say, right, look at the game objectively, it is a corridor all the time. Yeah. And it's a bad RPG in general. And also, there's a bit in the game they even outright state, "Oh, we can grind here." they literally tell you can grind here to level.
You can, yeah.
It's like, oh, come on. And the script writing is bullshit.
Yeah, my biggest issues with 13 are the fact that its main characters were so hard to like.
With the exception of Saz.
At least at the beginning of the game. Like, some of them got, like, Hope, for example. Hope, I wanted to smack him so much for, like, the first half of the game. He just would not shut up. And I do think he actually went through some development towards the end.
You can kind of understand because he lost his mother. It's like, okay, I can kind of understand, but at the same time, he's still a dick.
I emphasise with the fact that he's pissy with Snow. I get that. I get why he hates Snow for it. But he just doesn't come out and say anything.
Nope.
And the thing that really confuses me is this whole releasing 13 again on the PC just baffles me because
Square want to shove it down other people's throats.
They know no one likes 13. Everyone is the mate.
It's because Square thinks that if they shove it down people's throats enough, finally we'll accept them. And we're saying, no, we're not accepting you. And it's also the fact is they're releasing a lot of their Final Fantasy games on there. Exception of 9 and 12. I don't understand. Like, 12 had problems. But it's still a good Final Fantasy game. It's amazing. It was better than 10 by a country mile. Also, the fact is, it was essentially Star Wars. It was essentially Star Wars. Like, you had the blonde-haired kid in a sandy desert land wanting to leave his land and become something better, fighting against the Empire, led by a guy who turns out to be related to one of the characters. He's the evil version of that. In this case, he's his brother. It is Star Wars, and it's fantastic. It's a good game. It also has some of the best voice acting that Final Fantasy has ever had. Bolfier. My god. Just, I don't know why they haven't released 12 at all. It's like they're trying to stay far away from 12, and I don't understand why. But then again, this is Squeenix who said, oh, Bravely Default will not do well in the West. And it did, because that's the game that made them popular to begin with.
Speaking of Bravely Default, actually, I skipped it earlier, but Bravely Second, the sequel, will be coming out.
I'm looking forward to that. I haven't seen the trailer yet, but I've been playing Bravely Default, and I love it. There are some things I can niggle at, but not even close to Final Fantasy 13, and at least Bravely Default's a good game.
Not to mention it's huge from what I've heard. But,
it is, but they do throw something a little bit cheap, which is annoying.
Which is what?
Time travel.
Oh god.
Oh yes, that little chestnut.
Time travel is just so hard to do story-wise, and if it's not, and it needs to very much be the focus of your story in order for it. Because if you just randomly throw it in for no reason, it can sometimes seem a bit random. To be fair, I've not played Bravely Default, but I'm sure it handles its time travel much better than 13.2.
Oh, it does, but it's still choppy.
Stuff you do in the future will affect what happens in the past. That's not how time travel works.
It doesn't do it like that, thankfully, but how's best to describe it? It does feel a little bit cheap, but at the same time, it kind of gets away with it because it doesn't do it on that level.
Okay.
But it's still, at times you're like, oh, why did you do this? And they don't even do it once. It's like, oh, why?
We need to travel back in time again.
It does it? You're like, oh, for goodness sake. It does feel like they only added it into, like, now you can power up all of your abilities. It's like, oh.
I think like we sort of like drifted away from 15 a bit because we just moved on to bitching about 13.
I think it's because there's barely anything to talk about 15.
Well, you said there was something about the trailer that sort of like made it sounded like something about the trailer sort of made you a bit angsty.
Not angsty. I think it was more to do with the fact that 13's coming to Steam, but I think 15 is just it just doesn't feel like a Final Fantasy game.
Well, they've turned the combat into real time, haven't they? It's no longer using the active time battle system that the previous Final Fantasies have.
Which I actually am okay with. Which may be shocking for some, because 13 looked like it was going to be that. And then it felt like 13 felt like that they were going to go in that direction, and they went, oh no, people weren't going to like it, so they then went back to 12 spin, but it felt really janky, to the point of you could just basically auto-battle and win. But with this, it looks like they are definitely going for the real-time battles. They also said that they are going to have airships in the game. They said it's not going to be as linear, but this is the problem. This is what they're saying. Are they going to go with it?
Yeah, we'll still have to wait until the game comes out. I will have to say, though, despite the fact that 13 is so far the only Final Fantasy game I've played, I am very interested in 15. I'm not fond of how it looks. I'm not saying graphically it looks bad, because that's not the case. It looks amazing graphically.
Fantastic. But then again, so did 13.
It kind of just looks a bit bleak, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, but that also might be because they haven't shown a lot at the moment.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on that. Although that trailer has definitely helped go towards me purchasing 15, if only because seeing our main characters going on a road trip in that car, and not even a stupid looking JRPG car, an actual real life car. Yeah, it looks
like a proper car.
The car they were in, I could actually imagine going down a normal high street or something.
It does.
It just looks so weirdly jarring to me, and I love it.
There's also the fact is that this is going back to one of the earlier trailers. I think this is like the release trailer, like the release of when we found out the news. That your dad in the game looks like Yagami's dad from Death Note, which is hilarious. I was like, oh, please let them get the voice actor, just for shits and giggles. But I definitely won't be buying 15 at release. Because I bought 13 at release, and I still regret it ever since. So at the moment, I'm going to wait.
I still don't have a PS4, so I don't know when, even if I get 15. I'm still at that point where I don't know whether to get 15 or not.
I will probably get it, because it's in my brain. I have to buy all the Final Fantasies.
Yeah, I get you. I will say...
Bar 13... 2 and 3, because those are spin-offs, and fuck them both.
I do hope 15 is good, if only so as all the people who suffered because of 13 can get the big budget HD Final Fantasy that they've wanted.
Oh, please. Please. I so want it. I really do. I do definitely recommend to you, Michael, definitely getting some of the Final Fantasies. I think you got a Vita, haven't you?
I do have a Vita now, yeah. I can get the Final Fantasies on the PlayStation Network on either the PS3 or the Vita. I have been sorely tempted to get 9.
I was just about to say, do not buy 7 first, buy 9 first. Because even though 7's the game I absolutely love, and it's still my favourite game of all time, I freely admit it is not the Final Fantasy you should play first.
I've got a few more RPGs to get through first, but I feel like if I ever have any spare money, I want to give 9, 7, and 6 a try.
Yeah.
9 and 6 because they genuinely interest me, and 7 only because I can play it and then say to people, I finally played Final Fantasy 7. Will you get off my back now?
I was about to say, save 7 for later. 6 is the other one. This is the one that's in the Final Fantasy community. There are 2 that stand out, 6 and 7, and I still say 9's better. But 7's my favourite, 9's the better one.
Oh my god, I've just got this image now of just 2 armies just counting backwards. Final Fantasy 6 is better! No! Final Fantasy 7's better! And then there's you with a small crowd of people going, oh, we think 9's the best one. And then there's another, just one person off somewhere else, and they will go, what about you over there? What do you think the best Final Fantasy is? Dissidia? That's not even a main series entry!
Burn the heretic!
And then there's one newcomer who just says that they actually really like 13.
And everyone goes and kills them.
Speaking of Final Fantasy, actually, 15 wasn't the only Final Fantasy related announcement.
No, there's Explorers, isn't there?
There is Explorers, but that wasn't the one I was thinking of. I don't know if it was actually at the Tokyo Game Show, but it was announced around the same time as it was going on. But the much demanded, at least as far as I'm aware, Type 0 is actually coming out here.
Oh, finally.
Oh, did you not know this?
I've been hearing whisperings that they're going to try and release it, but now it's official?
Yeah, it's let me just get the Wikipedia page up if I can. But I'm pretty sure they've confirmed that it's going to be getting a HD re-release. Because yes, it is. Final Fantasy Type 0 was a PSP title that was released in Japan only back in 2011, and now it's been confirmed to be released next year for the PS4 and Xbox One.
Interesting.
And it does actually look kind of interesting, though. I mean, I might get it. The trailer I saw made it look like a lot of fun to play, and it's got like a high school setting, which is probably like.
And it's got a very large character roster from what I've seen.
It does, yeah. It's got like 15 characters.
Yeah, it's
or
almost
something.
like Final Fantasy VI all over again.
And that's one of the reasons why I would like to give 6 a try, because you're not. It's not just like in 13 a ragtag bunch of travelers going off to save the day. You're like forming a small army, and that's kind of cool.
It's one of the few Final Fantasy games you also get to play as a Moogle.
Yeah, that too.
And it's actually, and I can't remember if 13.2 actually you used the Moogle much. I don't think you did, but
well, the Moogle was like, it wasn't a party member, but it did turn into Sarah's weapon.
It was also, if I remember by the demo, he was annoying as fuck.
It was alright.
You could deal with it. Yeah,
I don't get bothered by annoying characters that much. That's why I play Sonic games.
Ooh, sick burn. Has there been any news of the new Sonic game?
Yeah. It was at the Tokyo Game Show apparently.
Oh, was it?
Because Sonic Boom is on the list here. Although in Japan it's going to be known as Sonic Toon, not Sonic Boom.
It doesn't matter. They still have shitty character designs.
I'm going to be honest here. I don't mind the new designs that much. They've kind of grown on me. I will admit, Knuckles should not be that bulky. Sonic's legs should not be that long, and the sports tape really is not that necessary. But I would be lying if I said I didn't. I would be lying if I said that I hated them, because I do kind of like Sonic's new scarf. Tails' design makes sense because he's always been the mechanic guy, so him having a tool belt and the goggles makes sense. And I honestly think Amy's is the best design because she actually looks kind of badass.
I'll give you that, but just
as I will say, the cartoon I'm very much looking forward to, because they've admitted it's just going to be like silly comedy. It's going to be comedy focused, so that's fine. As long as they've said that that's going to be the focus, I won't mind as much when all that happens is a bunch of jokes, because that's what it's what it's meant to be doing. It's not trying to tell an overarching story, so I'm fine with that.
And Sonic has had good series in the past, like it had the second series, the darker series, unlike that other show.
That Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is like the first one, the very cartoony one, it's not that bad. It's quite funny. It's very Looney Tunes-esque.
It is. It's very dumb, but it is enjoyable.
Sat AM, the other one, is the one you went for when you wanted the proper story.
Yeah. If you wanted something enjoyable, adventurous, and fun, you went for the second series. If you wanted just stupidity, you went to Adventures.
Yeah.
And both had their merits.
Both those shows, ask anybody, and a lot of Sonic fans will admit that those were like some genuinely good Sonic cartoons. Not unlike Sonic Underground and Sonic X, they weren't that good.
Oh, Sonic X, from what I've heard, was better in Japan because they didn't edit a lot of stuff out.
Well, it was obviously better in Japan because that's where it was made.
Yeah,
and obviously bringing it over to the West, they had to obviously change a lot of things. But
they
I still
edited
think
a ton out.
Yeah, they did. But even so, even with all that editing, I still think Sonic X, even if you watched it in Japanese, is still not that good of a show, because it still has the same problems of the bloody human characters.
Oh, but it's the running theme, isn't it? That we have Transformers. We'll focus on the human characters. We have Godzilla. We'll focus on the human characters.
Well, at least with Transformers, if you looked at shows like Transformers Animated and Transformers Prime,
I was talking about the Transformers movie, not the series. Do it well.
The movies can piss off. In the Transformers cartoons, they don't. At least with Animated and Prime, they didn't focus on the humans as much, and even when they did, the humans themselves were still very likable.
Yeah,
that's not the problem. It's the fact that the human characters tend to suck.
Yeah, like Godzilla. Oh god, I watched that movie finally. I was like, okay, maybe it's not that bad. I watched it. I was like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, and it sucked. I think the worst bit was every time they tried to go to a fight scene, it would cut away, and it was like, why?
That movie has such split opinions. People either love it or they hate it. There's just no middle ground.
I don't know. I don't hate it. I'm just really angry about it that they just absolutely wasted it. So much potential. Especially the fact is that they had Godzilla, and Godzilla looked fantastic. And
I will admit that the trailers for Godzilla looked really good.
Yeah, and that's the problem. This is how bad it is, Michael. In a 2-hour movie, we see Godzilla for about 10 minutes. 10 minutes in a 2-hour movie. The 1998 Godzilla movie is a better Godzilla movie.
Wait, that's the one done by Roland Emmerich,
Yes.
right? Those are some big words, James.
Oh, I went there. I bloody went there, because at least Godzilla was bloody in that movie.
Lest you forget that Godzilla film was so bad that the original owners of Godzilla, Toho I think they're called, they bought the rights to that Godzilla for the sole purpose of killing it.
I know. And that's why I like it, because they also did that. But it's still the fact is that the Godzilla movie that we got had him for 10 minutes, and it wasn't satisfying. And it wasn't even like, I could understand it if they had like this underlying theme of dread every time it was built up. But they never built it up. They never had any build-up. It was just Godzilla appeared for about 5 seconds, prepared to fight, and cut away to obnoxious, boring, bland white guy number 5. Who, funny enough, I think is the guy from Kick-Ass. Good in Kick-Ass, terrible in this movie. But then again, I say it's more the writing than anything else.
I suppose it would be a bit like, if like a new Superman film got announced and Superman was in that for all of 10 minutes, you'd be pretty miffed.
Or Zack Snyder's movies. I freely admit I actually kind of liked that movie, but then again, I hate Superman, so there we go.
Discussion for another day. I don't want to get into a Superman
We're going way
argument
off
here.
topic.
Let's go back to Tokyo Game Show. So yeah, 15 and Type 0 both look very interesting. Still don't know if I'm going to get them or not. Staying on the Square Enix front, more stuff about Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5 was shown. To be fair, I already know I'm going to get the game.
I probably will as well, definitely.
Because Kingdom Hearts, as stupid as a series that it is...
It's wonderful stupidity.
Well, that's the thing, though. At times it's wonderful stupidity, but the weird thing about it, and it's something that I've sort of realised, is that when I played Kingdom Hearts 3D Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS, I came away from that game feeling so unfulfilled. I found that game insulting. So, because when the credits played, I didn't have that sort of feeling you have when a game's credits go, where you're sitting back thinking, "Yeah, that was so worth it." I'm sitting there thinking, "Really? That's it?" I was like, I mean, the game itself was fine. It's just the story. It went beyond stupid. It was genuinely bad, and I actually feel like the writers think we're a bunch of idiots.
That, and also the fact is that it kept that the Dream Drop idea was interesting, but really badly implemented.
Yeah, not a great mechanic.
Especially when you came to boss fights.
Yeah, that was the worst bit. But the thing about it is that I came away from it thinking, like, well, what a pile of shit that was. And I just felt so angry and bitter towards Kingdom Hearts. Then the teaser trailer for Kingdom Hearts 3 got announced, and I was still like, oh my god, it's actually happening!
Yeah, because we're finally getting the actual game, apart from a spin-off.
And then the same thing happened again, like a Kingdom Hearts 2.5 trailer came out several months ago. And I remember watching it, and then, at the very end of it, is a 5-second teaser for Kingdom Hearts 3. But there was no, footage from the game. It was, some still images that you couldn't make out what they were, with some text and some Japanese voice acting. That was just the vaguest foreshadowing ever. And yet, I was still excited. I think that sums up the Kingdom Hearts fans enough.
Yep.
We complain about the story and its characters. Now it doesn't make any sense. Yet 5 seconds of nothing that's still a lose to Kingdom Hearts 3 will make us lose our shit.
Yep. Saying that as well, is just, at least the characters are likable.
I think it's like Stockholm Syndrome at this point. We just got...
Well, it's because we've been waiting for so long to finally have Kingdom Hearts 3. And finally we're like, we're in love with our characters now.
But still 2.5 to get through first, which I'm looking forward to, because 1.5, I would say, is a collection composing of a good game, a bad game, and the cutscenes of a bad game. The boring cutscenes of a bad game, might I add.
Yeah.
Whereas 2.5 looks like it will contain a good game, and the interesting cutscenes of an okay game.
The only thing I'm not looking forward to redoing Kingdom Hearts 2 is when the opening 3 hours when you're playing as Roxas.
That's always the most painful. But once you get past that...
Oh, when you get past that, it immediately becomes good.
It's uphill from there.
I still loved it when the first time I transformed and I got twin Keyblades. I was like...
That was cool.
Oh, yeah!
Though, to be fair, when Roxas first shows them off in his last fight with Axel, that was pretty cool.
Oh, that was when it actually got interesting, was when Axel finally appeared.
When Roxas and Axel dueled in that fiery arena... It's like, yes.
Can I also just say I'm so glad that they brought Axel back, or Leah, as is.
I don't mind Axel coming back. I've got no problem with him being back, but they did not need to give him a Keyblade.
No, he was awesome with his chakrams.
He didn't need it, but they felt like they had to keep him. They felt like Axel won't be relevant unless we give it to him. Well, if you're trying to keep characters relevant by just randomly giving them Keyblades, give Donald and Goofy Keyblades. I want them to be relevant again.
They've got to have it in Kingdom Hearts 3, they're back. They have to be...
Oh no, Kingdom Hearts 3, they're definitely back. Like, in the early footage, you saw them fighting alongside... There was like a bit of early footage where you saw them fight alongside Sora, so they're definitely coming back.
Good. I was about to say, I've got to have my Donald and Goofy back.
Yeah, I miss the party members.
Oh yeah, it especially pissed me off in Dream Drop Distance, where you actually had party members, but you had the heartless things.
The Dream Eaters, which were just... No.
I was like, but this could have been used for Donald and Goofy. Why haven't I got Donald and Goofy?
Or even there, it's like, well, maybe because they're in the sleeping worlds, Donald and Goofy couldn't come with them. Okay, but there's still people in those worlds. Why couldn't I get Quasimodo as a party member? Why couldn't I get Flynn from Tron Uprising to be a party member?
Oh God. I'm looking forward to see what new worlds are added in Kingdom Hearts 3.
Definitely. I don't think they'll... I do remember seeing, like, there was, like, a fake IMDb listing for, like, some of the voice actors, which, like... Obviously, it was deconfirmed, so we don't know, but I'd put money on maybe a Treasure Planet world.
That'd be awesome.
I'd be down with that.
I still
really
think
like
Treasure Planet was a decent movie.
That's the general thing, though. Treasure Planet, people who've seen it are like, yeah, this is actually quite a good movie. It's just the only problem is that they released it opposite the second Harry Potter film.
Not a good idea.
And so it didn't... And it was also the fact that, like, they apparently, when they were marketing it, they tried to market it to, like, the teen crowd. So, like, oh, it's so cool and hip, dog. Yeah. When it's like, no, it's not like that at all.
It's not like that at all. And I'm glad it wasn't like that at all.
Same. Treasure Planet is, like, a very good film, in my opinion.
And it also had, the villain who was, like, the crab guy.
That guy.
He's
that guy.
also the villain from the Three Musketeers, the good Three Musketeers movie. Well, the last good Three Musketeers movie in that case. The one with Tim Curry in it.
Okay.
He was the one that had the eye patch.
I'd like to see some Pixar worlds in the next Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, because they're owned by... Oh god, they'll be Frozen.
I think Frozen's a guaranteed. Frozen will be in Kingdom Hearts 3. And I'll be honest here. I won't mind Frozen being in Kingdom Hearts 3 as long as certain things happen. I want for the music to be like a cover of one of the songs. I don't want it to be anything.
It'll be Let It Go.
If it was, I'd be down with that. And second, I want Elsa to be a party member.
Yes.
I want her kicking ass with ice and magic. I want it.
Michael, I just had a horrible thought.
What?
What if it turns out that the Frozen world turns out to be just like the Under the Sea world from Kingdom Hearts 2. You only go there and you don't really do much in gameplay, it's just basically singing.
Okay, if Frozen if the Frozen world was that, I would be fine with it if they did it with the songs from the film, and they got Idina Menzel back and Kristen Bell.
Yeah.
Which I'd imagine hopefully they do. I mean, they've gotten like
I'm pretty
the original
sure they
voice
will.
For the most part, they've gotten the original voice actor for the Disney films back. But if the Frozen world was like Atlantica in Kingdom Hearts 2, where it was just singing mini games, I would be fine with it if they got the original voice actors back and all the songs were from the film. Because Atlantica's problem in Kingdom Hearts 2 was that only 2 of those songs were from the film. The other 3 were terrible original ones.
Yep. There's the thing though. They have been very good at getting the original voice actors from the movies to do the video game, which was really good. Like they got the original Hades, but then again, he said that he will always play Hades because he fucking loves the character.
Yeah. They got Brian Blessed back for Clayton in Kingdom Hearts 1.
That was so awesome, and I'm so sad that he died so early on. I was like, oh, it's Brian Blessed.
Brian Blessed.
They also got they got Oogie Boogie back.
Yeah, they got Oogie Boogie's original voice actor back. They got Jack Skellington's original voice actor. They got back. I'm pretty sure Aladdin's original voice actor they got back.
Yeah,
they didn't get Robin Williams back for Genie, but they did get Dan Castellaneta, who basically filled in for Robin Williams.
I was about to say he always fills in for Robin Williams.
He filled in for him in the second film and the cartoon, so I consider him to be the official voice actor. But obviously they haven't been able to get back all of them. They couldn't get Johnny Depp back for Jack Sparrow in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Yeah, and that was very obvious.
I don't know. I'd say that James Arnold Taylor, who basically filled in for Johnny Depp, I think he did I mean, you could tell it wasn't Johnny Depp, but I feel like he did a good enough impression that it wasn't horribly jarring.
I think James Arnold Taylor just did. I think he does better impression like Obi-Wan than he did of Johnny Depp.
Yeah. Although not all the Pirates of the Caribbean fill-ins were great.
No.
The guy they got to fill in for Jeffrey Rush wasn't that great.
Oh, it's because you can't really. Jeffrey Rush is like such a. I still think it's not Jack Sparrow's iconic to me. It's Jeffrey Rush's Barbossa.
Yeah.
Just that tagline. He goes, "You best stop believing in ghost stories, Miss Turner. You're in one." Just a fantastic line.
Yeah. They didn't get Jeremy Irons back for Scar either, and you could really tell because then again, Pride Lands in Kingdom Hearts 2 was just a very underwhelming world, which is a shame because
the weakest by a ton.
It's a shame because Lion King is like my favorite Disney movie, so to see it so poorly represented was kind of like an
But Michael, we got to run after the hyenas all the time.
Oh yeah, that was a totally fun boss fight. He lied.
That was literally the worst thing in Kingdom Hearts 2. That was literally the most pointless battle.
I don't know. I think I could probably think of worse things in Kingdom Hearts 2.
Which one do you think is the worst?
Atlantica. The 2-hour tutorial.
Oh, fuck. Or that bit in Tron where you had to make sure that the weight didn't go too far.
Oh, that. Oh, God, I forgot all about that.
I think that the last time I played Kingdom Hearts 2, a long time ago, I actually stopped playing at that bit because I was like, I can't fucking do it! It's like, damn.
Although
the
thing is, though, we can look in the remix. We can look forward to even more bullshit moments, like the lingering Will secret boss fight.
Oh Jesus! Soon we'll have Darth Vader as a secret boss.
I actually wouldn't mind Darth Vader being a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 3.
That'd be awesome. Let's be honest. He was in Soul Calibur 2, Soul Calibur 4.
He just randomly appears, and Sora's like, "What the shit?"
It would still make more sense in Soul Calibur 4. Oh, don't. Soul Calibur 4 was terrible with that. Like, they had Starkiller, who was a fucking nightmare.
Such a random cameo.
Yeah.
Like, at what point in Soul Calibur 4's development did someone say, "You know who we need? Star Wars characters." It's probably the same guy who said they need an Assassin's Creed character in the next one. Everyone's just like, for Christ's sake, stop putting in random cameos.
I think the worst thing was that Yoda was pretty much unkillable. Because certain abilities couldn't hit him. You couldn't grab him because he was so small. He was literally a nightmare to kill. It was like, oh, great. Yet when you played him, he was terrible.
And he was 360 exclusive. Darth Vader was PS3 exclusive. Well, I think that's everything we can say about the about Kingdom Hearts, because, like I said, we both already going to get Kingdom Hearts HD 2.5, and I imagine if you're a Kingdom Hearts fan, you've probably already pre-ordered the game, and if you're not a Kingdom Hearts fan, you don't care. So
there we go.
I suppose, should we talk about Metal Gear Solid 5?
That's the one trailer I haven't watched yet, but I have heard some things.
Right, because I'm
There's
not
a wolf
interested
with
in...
an eye patch.
Oh yeah, they've brought. I know that they've brought in a dog. It's like they saw Call of Duty Ghosts and were like, "We need that."
We will add in the dog and make it better.
That's going to be the thing. It's like the go. It's going to become the go-to thing now that all video games are just going to be putting in. Just like it's going to be like a basic edition. It's going to be like, you know how like every game nowadays needs to have dynamic cutscenes or QuickTime events. It's going to get to the point where dogs are going to be mandatory.
But it's like Revengeance had it, remember?
Yeah, but Revengeance had Blade Wolf, who was a cybernetic wolf robot thing with a chainsaw for a tail, and was awesome. Blade Wolf can stay.
This was just an ordinary wolf with a eye patch.
I can't remember when we had this conversation, but I still remember you saying how you thought Revengeance was too silly for a Metal Gear game. And I was like,
I still
really?
stick by that decision. Although this one looks like it's going to be going the same way.
Well, they're really big. With Phantom Pain, they're making it seem like a... I mean, I know it probably is because the Metal Gear Solid franchise is so popular. I mean, Metal Gear Solid 3, everybody loved. Metal Gear Solid 4, like the way that was handled. With Phantom Pain, they're treating it like a goddamn event.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the trailers for it, proper
this
singing.
This is Hideo Kojima we're talking about.
Yeah, it is Kojima.
Absolutely love him to bits, but he is insane. And he is definitely a game director, I would say, who would... How to best describe this? He's like Quantic Dream. Yes, I said it. He's like Quantic Dream, with the exception of he makes good games.
Yeah, I was going to say...
It's already unlike Quantic Dream, but...
Because Kojima doesn't seem pretentious.
No.
Like, you could argue that the Metal Gear series is kind of pretentious,
but
I feel like
itself.
He has enough of a sense of humour.
Yeah.
Like, the Metal Gear Solid games have, like, contained, terrorism, betrayal, psychological issues, and yet this is also the same game where at one point Raiden in the Metal Gear Solid 2 was completely naked, and all you could do was do cartwheels.
Oh god, that section was a nightmare. You had to be very good to not get seen, and I got seen quite a few times.
It is also the same franchise where in Metal Gear Solid 4, when fighting Screaming Mantis, everyone's first reaction was, oh, I'll just disconnect the controller like I did in Metal Gear Solid 1. And then Otacon literally appears and goes, you do know unplugging the controller's not going to work this time, right?
We are self-aware. The Metal Gear Solid games always break the fourth wall when it's brilliant.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to Phantom Pain. I need to watch the trailer to get a little bit more, but from everything I've seen, it's going to be good. And hopefully it will not... After the problems that Ground Zero had, is the fact it was basically a 25 quid demo.
Oh yeah, that was kind of silly.
Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. Money.
Yeah, money.
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 Loads of money.
Moving on, Persona 5.
Oh, Persona. I was just thinking of Persona 4, the fighter.
Oh yeah, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, which or as it's known by its much better title in Japan, Persona 4 Arena the Ultra Suplex Hold or something.
Okay.
But yeah, that's been out in Japan for a while now, and it was only recently confirmed actually that Europe would be getting it because of Sega.
And it looks so good.
So to all you people who when Sega bought out Atlas were like, oh god, Sega are going to ruin Persona. Shut up. You're getting Persona 4 Arena Ultimax now because of Sega.
You just can't let's play it. That's essentially it.
Well, Atlas have said like don't spoil the ending. That's about it. And they said the same with Persona Q, which I think is out in Japan now and we'll be getting in November. I'm very much looking forward to that.
I just loved it. I watched the trailer for Persona 4 Ultimax, and suddenly, oh, hi, Vic Mignogna. Just
Who's Vic Mignogna voicing?
Yeah, he's it's a character who, in the trailer, he's like trying to get some drinks. He goes, "Hey, what's going on?"
Oh, Junpei.
Yeah.
Is that Vic Mignogna? Okay.
Yeah, that's Vic Mignogna.
I'm not going to get Persona 4 Arena Ultimax because I suck at 2D fighting games. Even though I've heard people say that Arena is like very simple to play, I'll probably give it a pass. Although I'm kind of sad I'll have to pass it because
it's Persona.
At that and motherfucking Adachi, the best character in the game. Yeah, he's DLC, but I don't care.
It's Adachi, motherfuckers.
I still like rewatch the Adachi trailer just because he's just such a great character. I love him so much because he's such an arsehole.
It's true.
He's a massive prick, and I love him for it.
He's a lovable prick.
The guy murdered 2 women and orchestrated this entire game of cat and mouse between these two separate parties, and was perfectly willing to let everything fall into anarchy. Was willing to let the world be devoured in darkness and have everyone turn into mindless monsters.
Swings and roundabouts.
And then he makes it sound like as if he's in the right.
You kill a few people and suddenly I'm the bad guy.
That was what made him such a great character, because he felt like he was entitled to everything. It was great.
He was a self-entitled asshole, and we loved him.
I could spend ages talking about why I love Adachi, but we'd be here all day. Yeah. So, back to Persona 5. We still actually don't know that much about Persona 5.
I was going to say, the last trailer I watched was the one you told me about.
Yeah, with the protagonist.
But I swear to God, I just went, "You're an anime character, Harry."
I'm a what?
You see it though, don't
you? You see why everyone calls him. You see why everyone calls him Harry Potter.
Mm-hmm. He is so much like Harry Potter. It's hilarious.
I'm certainly interested in. I mean, obviously he won't have a character because the person playing will determine the characterization for him. But design-wise, he looks so vastly different to Persona 3 and Persona 4's protagonists that I'm just glad that he just looks different. He's like, you can, because even though, like, obviously we as the players sort of set a personality on the character, just from a design standpoint, they still exude a certain kind of personality. Like, Persona 3's protagonist looked a lot more sullen and a bit more of a loner type of character, whereas Persona 4's, it's probably just because I've watched the anime, but Persona 4's protagonist sort of seems a lot more like serious, straight-laced, sort of like not difficult to surprise.
Yeah.
He always had that sort of just look on his face of just pure acceptance, like he just accepted whatever like happened, no matter how ridiculous it got.
And oh, did it get ridiculous, and we loved it.
Yeah. I actually finished Persona 4 Golden last night. And, oh god, my heart was in tatters. That
How
scene
can
where
I
he's
hold all these feels?
Well, he was on the train leaving, and I'm just sitting there going, "No, do not cry. You cannot cry at this." And I did.
Why?
It was just so moving. It was beautiful.
Which ending did you get?
I went for the good ending.
You went for the perfect good ending. Good.
Yeah. Because that is the ending. You don't want the bad ending.
You don't want the terrible ending, no.
The one where Adachi gets away with it.
Damn you, Adachi!
Oh yeah, spoilers for Persona 4, Adachi did it.
Really? The one who you said killed people, swings and roundabouts. It couldn't possibly be him.
But yeah, Persona 5, we haven't seen any gameplay of it, so we don't know what it's going to be like, but I'm still excited for it.
I'm excited for it. I think the games have proven themselves to be very good. Very interesting RPGs. Although they do fall into that category of they are fantastic to play and interesting, but they are a bitch to explain to people.
Yeah, I feel like if someone asked me what is Persona 4 about, I would just have to spend an hour explaining what happens within like the first several hours of gameplay.
Yeah, because it's also a similar thing with Phoenix Wright. Like, you play as a lawyer, and then people immediately go, "Oh, It's like, no, you don't understand. And you took really go in depth.
Even there, I remember just explaining Persona 4 to my mum one time, and it was just like, so wait, what's it about? And I was like, well, it's kind of like a murder mystery. She was like, oh, really? And I was like, yeah, someone's like throwing people into TVs, and there's a world in the TV, which is like made up of people's emotions.
How did that go down?
I think she just stopped listening.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, what a bunch of bollocks. What's he talking about?
It does go for that. Some games are very hard to explain, and it's one of those things you have to show them, and then they understand why.
Yeah, definitely. But well, that's all I really wanted to talk about from the Tokyo Game Show. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, James?
I think that was actually it. I think the one complaint I had was Final Fantasy 13 appearing on Steam. Screw you, Squeenix. And also my absolute love for Super Smash Bros. Coming out, and it's fantastic on the 3DS. Oh, also, I also tried out Theatre Rhythm.
Oh, you've tried the demo for that?
Yes. It's actually good. It's Theatre Rhythm. It's not changed too much.
Theatre Rhythm is a rhythm action game using Final Fantasy music. The first one was really fun. I absolutely loved it, and I don't play Final Fantasy games.
Mm-hmm.
Just the music itself is worth it.
That is one of the things that the music is fantastic.
Curtain Call, which is like came out last week on Friday, I believe, and I'm very much looking forward to that. I want to play it, if only because like it has all of the music from the last game, all of the DLC, and a whole bunch of new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of feel sorry for all the poor saps who bought all the DLC for like
Theatre Rhythm.
for the first Theatre Rhythm, and now this game's come out and says, oh, by the way, all the DLC from the first game is already on this cartridge. What?
Oh, Squeenix. You lovable bastards. One of those words is meant to be taken out. But, yeah, Theatre Rhythm, it's Theatre Rhythm, but it's got a lot more content, and from what I played on the demo's good. And also the demo has an interesting thing where if you play the demo and you keep the save data from the demo and you buy the actual game, it gives you free content.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it?
It's nothing major, it's just basically you get characters and all this stuff. Which, yeah, I'm actually okay with that. That's actually a nice little mechanic.
Encourages people to try out the demo. Though at this point, I've only played the demo once, because there's only two tracks on there. It's like I played them both, and I was like, well, that's that then.
Yep, I was about to say you only got Edgar's theme, and you got Genova from Advent Children.
The Genova remix from Advent Children.
I'm really happy they got the Advent Children tracks on there, because I actually think Advent Children has the best version of One Winged Angel.
One Winged Angel is god tier.
Oh my god, that I can still remember playing Final Fantasy VII, and I got to the final boss, and I heard that track for the first time. There were times where I just literally put the controller down and just listened. Yes, I died a lot, but I just listened to the tracks because it was amazing.
Well, it just made the final boss already looks rather intimidating, and with that scenery in the background as well, and then with that music on top of that. By the way, you know Smooth McGroove, right? He does the
Oh my god, his version of One Winged Angel.
It's amazing, but I've never properly seen the Sephiroth final boss fight from that game. And then watching it, he's got it going on in the middle. And then there's the entire bit where Sephiroth, one of his attacks, is like he summons a giant... He's called Supernova. And I was like, oh, he's probably just going to summon like a huge energy ball or something. No, he like destroys almost every planet in the solar system.
He
blows up the sun. Blows up the sun and chucks that in Cloud's face.
Heard you like sun.
And it's such a long scene as well. You're just watching this meteor crashing through planets, and I'm like, this is terrifying. I'd shit myself if I was playing this.
And Smooth McGroove's version of that is terrifying enough. Like, it's actually really creepy. I don't know. Maybe it's just me, but that version was in a good way, I might add.
I'd say the original's a lot creepier.
Oh yeah, but I'd say the original on the PlayStation was creepier. I'd say the Advent Children one was really rock and really good. And there was also there was another remix, because they love remixing this song.
Yeah.
For what was the one on the PSP? Crisis Core. Crisis Core, which was another remix. That one was actually really good as well. Which was a shame, because Crisis Core was actually a very good game and sadly underrated and hasn't been re-released.
Yeah, I think pretty sure Crisis Core didn't do that well commercially.
No, it didn't. It didn't sell very well, which I'm actually quite shocked about.
Considering it's another Final Fantasy VII game.
I think it was at that point where people were just like, you know what, can you please stop?
If
you're not going to release Final Fantasy VII properly, can you just stop re-releasing all this other stuff? We'll be happy then.
Here's a game all about Zack. We don't care. Although from what I've heard, Zack is a very good protagonist.
He is. I definitely say that's what I
liked.
Or
at least a very likable one.
I definitely think that Zack was a good character. It was nice to see all the backstory. Having said that, the main villain in that game is fucking annoying. Like, he is pretentious as fuck. Like, this is where the writing for Squeenix went downhill, and it started with Genesis. Even his name is pretentious as hell.
That's his actual name?
Yes. Gee, I wonder what that is.
What's your name? Genesis. I'm totally not a bad guy.
Genesis?
No, don't do that. Well, I've pretty much run out of things to talk about.
I think that's actually call it a day. This is actually an episode that hasn't been very angry. It's been very happy today.
Yeah, and quite short as well. It's only like just over an hour.
Yeah, no, we are at the moment 1 hour and 17 minutes. So we shall call it a day.
Yeah.
And I think we will definitely be back next week, and we will I don't know. We shall see what's coming up in video game news. Hopefully some interesting things, and hopefully not controversies.
Yeah,
I think we've had enough of those.
Yeah. So, shall we sign off?
We shall. This is James Hall saying goodbye.
This is Michael Beckwith saying goodbye.
Bye, ladies and gentlemen. Goodbye.
Goodbye.